Life will hit you harder than you ever expected. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait until you're ready. It comes swinging fast, loud, and unforgiving. You fall. You fail. You question yourself. And for a moment, you think, maybe this is it. But let me tell you something. It's not the fall that defines you. It's the rise. You've heard the quote before. Denzel Washington said it best. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Sounds simple, right? But living it, that's where most people quit. Because the truth is, everyone falls. Not everyone gets up. Everyone dreams. Not everyone works. Everyone wants success. But not everyone will fight for it when it hurts. Let's ask the real question. Why do some people make it? Why do some crawl out of failure and build empires, while others stay buried under their excuses? The answer? Control. Not luck. Not talent. Not opportunity. Control. Control of what? Control of your mind. Control of your mood. Control of your habits. Control of your money. That's the real power. You see, most people give control away. They hand it to fear. They hand it to laziness. They hand it to doubt. They say, I don't feel like it today. They say, it's too hard. They say, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. The people who rise, the ones you admire, they don't have fewer problems. They just have stronger control. Think about that. The storm hits everyone. Some people panic. Some people steer the ship. And Denzel's message isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about standing tall after life pushes you flat on your face. He didn't say, fall 7 times, hope someone helps you up. He said, get up 8. That means you do it. Every time you take the hit, you take the lesson, you stand up again. Because when you stand, something changes. You start to see your power. You start to feel your control. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That's when the shift begins. That's when you stop surviving and start building. See, life doesn't reward people who fall. It rewards those who learn how to rise. And every rise teaches you control. Control of your emotions when everything's falling apart. Control of your words when negativity surrounds you. Control of your actions when motivation disappears. Because motivation fades. Control doesn't. Let me tell you something. Control is freedom. When you control your mind, no one can break you. When you control your mood, no one can manipulate you. When you control your habits, success becomes predictable. When you control your money, your choices expand. But if you don't control these things, they'll control you. Your mind will talk you out of your dreams. Your emotions will make you sabotage yourself. Your habits will trap you. Your money will stress you. And you'll call it bad luck, but it was never luck. It was always control. So before we go deeper, I need you to ask yourself one thing. Who's really in control of your life? Is it you or is it your fear? Is it you or is it your comfort? If you've been falling, if you've been tired, if you've been saying one day, this is your wake-up call. Because here's the truth. You can fall 7 times. You can fall 70 times. You can fall 700 times. But as long as you get up one more time, you win. And this lesson, this mindset is what separates those who dream from those who do. So listen closely, because from here on out, we're going to break this down piece by piece. Your mind, your mood, your habits, your money. You'll learn how to take control, not someday, not eventually, but now. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. And this time, don't just rise. Rise with control. Listen. You've got dreams. Big ones. But if we're being honest, you're not where you want to be. Not yet. And deep down, you know why. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's not because the world is unfair. It's not even because you lack motivation. It's because you've lost control. You've let life drive while you sit in the passenger seat, watching opportunities pass by, saying, one day. You wake up tired even when you've slept 8 hours. You scroll instead of building. You complain instead of correcting. You start projects and never finish them. You promise change but keep repeating the same cycles. You've said this before, right? I'll start Monday. I'll try again next week. I just need to feel ready. But Monday came, next week came, and ready never did. Let me tell you something, you don't need ready. You need control. The real enemy isn't failure, it's distraction. Most people aren't defeated by big failures. They're destroyed by small distractions. No, it's true. You don't lose years at once, you lose minutes. You waste them. One scroll, one show, one excuse at a time. You tell yourself, just 5 minutes, but 5 turns into 50, then an hour, then a day, then a week. And suddenly, your dreams are on the shelf gathering dust. Here's the painful truth. You are not tired. You are unfocused. You are not unlucky. You are undisciplined. You are not lost. You are uncontrolled. Every dream dies the same way, slow, silent, distracted. You don't even notice it's happening until you realize you've been standing still for years. Your mind, the first battlefield. Control starts in the mind. But your mind right now, it's noisy, chaotic, untrained. You think you're in control because you decide, but half your decisions are reactions to fear, boredom, or habit. Ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind every day? What words do you repeat to yourself? Because your words are seeds, and every seed grows. If you plant doubt, you'll harvest fear. If you plant laziness, you'll harvest regret. If you plant excuses, you'll harvest failure. You say, I can't focus. But you've trained your brain not to. You scroll when you're bored. You quit when it's hard. You escape when you should endure. And that pattern, that lack of control, is killing your progress. Your mood, the silent trap. Let's talk about your emotions. You let them run the show. If you're happy, you work. If you're sad, you stop. If you're tired, you rest too long. If you're upset, you say things you regret. You've turned your mood into your master. But here's a truth most people can't handle. Mood is a choice. You don't wait for a good mood, you create it. Think about it. Have you ever smiled at someone and instantly felt lighter? That's control. You chose it. Yet most people do the opposite. They let small things ruin big days. One comment ruins their confidence. One mistake ruins their focus. One failure ruins their belief. You can't win like that. If every emotion moves you, you'll never move forward. Your habits, the invisible jail. Now let's talk about habits. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. You can dream all day, but if your habits don't match, you'll stay stuck right where you are. You want success? Look at your daily routine. It's either building your dream or breaking it. You say you want to get fit, but you skip the gym. You say you want to learn, but you open Netflix. You say you want to save, but you spend for comfort. Be honest. How many times have you said, I'll do better tomorrow? Tomorrow isn't the problem. Repetition is. You keep repeating the same weak patterns and expecting a stronger life. That's not how it works. Every small action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. The question is, who are you voting for? The strong you or the same you? Your money, the mirror of control. Money doesn't change people. It reveals them. If you can't control $100, you won't control 100,000. If you spend to impress, you'll stay broke trying to please. Money isn't evil, it's energy. And energy needs direction. But most people use it emotionally, not strategically. They chase pleasure over purpose. They trade their future for a moment's comfort. Then they call it bad luck. No, it's bad control. You say you want freedom, but freedom isn't a feeling. It's a system. And systems are built by people who can delay gratification. The problem isn't the economy. It's the way you treat your own value. So what's really stopping you? It's not fear. It's not failure. It's the refusal to take control. You want change, but you don't want discomfort. You want results, but not discipline. You want growth, but not correction. And that's why you keep falling. Not because life hates you, but because you're giving up control every time it gets hard. You keep saying, I'll try. But trying is passive. Control is active. Stop waiting for motivation to knock on your door. Start building systems that make movement automatic. Because the truth, motivation won't save you. Discipline will. Control will. The honest mirror. Look at your life. Every result you see today is a reflection of yesterday's control. You're not a victim, you're the author. If your story isn't inspiring, pick up the pen and rewrite it. Yes, you've fallen. Yes, you've failed. But falling doesn't mean finished. Every failure is feedback. Every mistake is material. Every fall is a lesson in control. The question isn't, will you fall again? You will. Everyone does. The real question is, will you get up different? Because if you don't learn from the fall, you'll repeat it. But if you do, you rise stronger, clearer, unshakable. Final words of this section: the problem isn't out there, it's in here. Your mind, your mood, your habits, your money, they're not separate battles. They're one war, control versus comfort. And if you keep choosing comfort, you'll keep losing control. But once you decide to take it back, everything changes. Your thoughts sharpen. Your focus returns. Your power grows. The fall stops defining you. The rise begins shaping you. So listen carefully. The fall isn't your enemy. Your lack of control is, but don't worry, we're about to fix that. Because now that you understand the problem, it's time for the truth. The hard, unfiltered reality that most people don't want to hear. Listen, this is the part where it gets uncomfortable. Because the truth doesn't always inspire you. Sometimes it stings, but you need it. You say you want success. You say you want control, but your actions don't match your words. And until they do, nothing changes. You can watch all the motivational videos you want. You can post quotes. You can read books. But if you keep living the same way, you'll keep getting the same results. Here's the harsh truth. No one's coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your friends. Not your boss. Not Denzel. If you fall, it's on you to get up. That's the rule. That's life. You can cry, complain, or curse the system, but it won't change your reality. You change your life by changing yourself. And change hurts. Comfort is the enemy. You think your problem is failure. It's not. Your problem is comfort. You've built a life that's too easy to stay in and too painful to grow from. You've gotten comfortable being average, comfortable being inconsistent, comfortable talking instead of doing. You've built habits that keep you safe, but not strong. You want the prize, but you avoid the process. Let me make it clear. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Because failure teaches. Comfort traps. Failure says, learn. Comfort says, stay. You can't grow in a zone designed to keep you soft. And most people never realize that their comfort zone isn't a home, it's a cage. Motivation is overrated. Everybody wants to feel motivated. But motivation is sugar. It gives you a rush, then disappears. You don't need sugar. You need fuel. You need discipline. Motivation is for beginners. Discipline is for finishers. Because motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays when the fire dies. The difference between winners and losers isn't energy. It's control. Losers work when they feel good. Winners work even when they don't. Losers say, I'll start when I'm ready. Winners say, I'll start now and get ready along the way. Losers chase hype. Winners build habits. And if you want to rise, really rise, you need to stop chasing feelings and start chasing consistency. Because life doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. Excuses are lies you tell yourself. Every excuse sounds reasonable when you're tired, but every excuse is still a lie. You say you're too busy, but somehow you still find time for scrolling. You say you're too tired, but somehow you find energy for distractions. You say you don't have enough, but the truth is you don't use what you already have. Excuses are comforting lies dressed as logic. They sound smart, but they keep you small. You think you're protecting your self-esteem, but you're actually destroying your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you trade progress for comfort. And here's the painful part. Your brain believes your excuses. You repeat them so much, they become your reality. So the next time you say, I can't, hear it for what it is. A lie. Because someone with less time, less money, less support, and less talent has already done what you're afraid to start. You don't need more time. You need priorities. People love to say, I don't have time. But that's not true. You have time, you just waste it. The average person spends hours every day on things that give zero return. You say you're busy, but you're not productive. You say you're overwhelmed, but your schedule is full of nonsense. You don't need more hours. You need more honesty. Because the truth is, you make time for what matters. You find a way to watch a show. You find a way to scroll through feeds. You find a way to text for hours. So why can't you find a way to build your dream? Because it's not about time. It's about control. Time doesn't manage you. You manage time. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours than you. They just use them differently. The world owes you nothing. This is going to hurt, but you need to hear it. You are not owed success. You are not owed recognition. You are not owed understanding. The world doesn't owe you anything. You owe the world your effort. Stop waiting for fairness. Stop expecting life to hand you opportunities. Stop acting like hard work guarantees reward. It doesn't. Hard work doesn't promise success. It only gives you a chance. And that's all you need. But most people waste that chance because they spend more time complaining than creating. Let me say it clearly. Your success is not waiting for approval. It's waiting for effort. No one's going to knock on your door and hand you your dream. You have to fight for it every single day. Discipline feels like pain until it feels like power. At first, discipline feels like punishment, but over time, it becomes freedom. When you're disciplined, you stop depending on emotions. You stop waiting for motivation. You start moving with purpose. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means control. It means you do what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. It means you choose your future over your feelings. And the moment you start doing that, you start separating yourself from 90% of people around you because they let emotions run their day. You'll let commitment run yours. That's how control is built, one disciplined choice at a time. This is the harsh truth. You can't keep living soft and expect a strong life. You can't keep giving your power away and expect to feel in control. You can't keep saying, I want it, while acting like you don't. Stop lying to yourself. Stop waiting for perfect. Stop hiding behind potential. It's time to grow up. It's time to own it. It's time to control it. Because no one's going to do it for you. You fell? Fine. Get up. You failed? Learn. You hurt? Heal. Then move. Because life won't pause for you. It will keep going with or without you. So stop watching it pass by. Take control. Now, listen. If the first truth hurt, this one will cut deeper. But pain is a teacher, and right now, you need the lesson. You say you want to be strong. The strength isn't born in comfort. It's forged in fire. You say you want success, but success isn't given, it's earned in silence. When no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when you're tired, doubtful, and still doing the work, that's what most people never understand. They think success is about luck or timing. It's not. It's about staying in the fight when everyone else has quit. No one cares about your excuses. Let's be brutally honest. No one cares why you didn't do it. No one cares why you stopped. No one cares about your circumstances. The world judges results, not reasons. You can have excuses or you can have progress, but you can't have both. You say, I had no support, but support doesn't build discipline. You say, I had no time, but time isn't found, it's made. You say it's not easy. Of course it's not. That's why it's worth it. Winners don't wait for the world to understand them. They do what's required anyway. That's the difference between those who rise and those who remain. You are the reason and the solution. Here's the hardest truth to swallow. Everything wrong in your life is connected to your decisions. Your habits, your attitude, your discipline. You can't change what you don't take responsibility for. And most people never take it. They blame. They blame their parents. They blame their job. They blame their past. They blame bad luck. But blame is a cage. It locks you in weakness. Responsibility is the key. Once you take it, you unlock freedom. The moment you say, this is on me, you take back your power. Because if it's your fault, it's also your fix. And that's the beauty of control. You don't have to wait for anyone to rescue you. You can rebuild anytime, anywhere, starting with what you have. Life doesn't owe you balance. You've been told to find balance. Let's correct that. Balance isn't something you find, it's something you build. And in the beginning, it won't be balanced at all. You'll work when others rest. You'll grind when others party. You'll be misunderstood, judged, doubted. That's the price of progress. And the people who say, you're working too hard, are usually the ones who quit too early. Stop chasing balance before you've built momentum. Earn your peace through progress. Because when you control your time, balance follows naturally. But if you chase easy, you'll always feel lost. You can't be great and comfortable at the same time. The truth is simple. Greatness and comfort don't coexist. Every strong person you admire, they've all lived seasons of discomfort. They trained when they didn't feel like it. They studied while others slept. They sacrificed when it hurt. You want the same success? Then you need the same suffering. Because suffering builds strength. And strength builds character, and character builds legacy. You can't shortcut that. The more you avoid pain, the more pain you create later. So stop running from struggle. Run through it, because that's where growth lives. You are what you repeat. Forget motivation, forget luck. You are your patterns. What you do daily defines who you are permanently. If you keep hitting snooze, you're training your mind to lose. If you keep quitting early, you're programming failure into your system. If you keep lying to yourself, you're building weakness as your identity. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It only sees your results. If you want to be powerful, build powerful habits. One choice at a time, one day at a time. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's repetitive, boring, and invisible. But that's where transformation happens. In the quiet work no one celebrates. Because one day, those invisible choices create visible success. Your environment is shaping you, whether you like it or not. Look around. Who do you spend time with? What do you consume daily? What do you listen to, watch, and believe? Because all of it is programming you. You can't stay surrounded by small minds and expect big growth. You can't feed your mind junk and expect clarity. You can't complain with losers and expect to think like a winner. If your circle doesn't challenge you, it's a cage, not a crew. Sometimes control means cutting off comfort. It means saying goodbye to people who don't want better. It means walking alone for a while. That's not loneliness. That's leadership. You are either evolving or repeating. Every day, you're doing one of two things: evolving or repeating. There's no middle ground. If you wake up and do the same things, think the same thoughts, react the same way, you're not living, you're looping. And every loop costs you time. Every loop delays your rise. You think you're stuck. You're not. You're just repeating. Control means interrupting that cycle. Doing something new, something uncomfortable, something that moves the story forward. Because nothing changes until you do. Pain is the price of power. Every dream demands a payment, and the currency is pain. You can't avoid it. You can only choose your type. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One builds you, the other breaks you. So ask yourself, which pain are you choosing today? The pain of waking up early or the pain of wishing you had? The pain of saving money or the pain of being broke again? The pain of staying focused or the pain of knowing you wasted another year? Pain is unavoidable, but if you choose the right kind, it turns into power. Final words of this section. This is the truth most people never accept. You are the problem. You are also the solution. You are the obstacle. You are also the opportunity. You can stay the same, or you can rise. You can fall 7 times, or get up 8. You decide. The world doesn't hand out control. You take it. You build it. You protect it. That's what separates dreamers from doers. That's what separates the talkers from the builders. So stop saying you want more. Start proving it. No one's watching? Good. That's when legends are made. You'll never control your life until you control your mind. Because your mind is the command center. Everything begins there. Your thoughts, your focus, your choices. If your mind is weak, your life will follow. If your mind is chaotic, your actions will scatter. If your mind is focused, your path becomes clear. You can't build a strong life with a weak mindset. So if you want to rise, this is where it begins, here, inside your head. Your thoughts are seeds. Think about this. Every word you speak, every thought you think, every belief you repeat, they're seeds. And your mind is the soil. If you plant negativity, you'll grow doubt. If you plant excuses, you'll grow fear. If you plant purpose, you'll grow progress. You can't keep planting weeds and expect a garden. Your thoughts become habits. Your habits become identity. Your identity becomes destiny. That's the chain. That's the truth. You say, I can't focus. But what are you feeding your focus with? You scroll through chaos. You consume gossip. You fill your head with fear and wonder why peace is missing. You become what you repeat. So the first rule of control is this. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. The power of input. You are not what you think. You are what you allow yourself to think. The mind is a garden that never stops growing. Something is always being planted. Music, media, conversations, self-talk. Everything you consume is shaping you quietly, constantly, powerfully. Ask yourself, who are you listening to? What are you watching? What do you believe about yourself, about success, about failure? If you keep listening to voices that drain you, you'll start doubting your own. If you keep watching people doing nothing, you'll start settling for the same. Control starts when you filter the feed. Stop letting everyone have access to your mental space. Not every thought deserves a home in your mind. Not every voice deserves your attention. Feed your focus, not your fears. Replace noise with knowledge. Replace gossip with growth. Replace distraction with direction. Because what goes in must come out. And your output will always reflect your input. The mind's two voices. Every day, you're fighting two voices inside you. The first one whispers, you can. The second one screams, you can't. Which one wins? The one you feed. The weak mind listens to doubt. The strong mind talks back. When your mind says you're tired, you say, but I'm not finished. When your mind says it's too late, you say, then I'll start now. When your mind says you'll never make it, you say, watch me. That's control. Not the absence of fear, but the ability to override it. Most people think strength means no doubt. Wrong. Strength means you feel doubt and move anyway. You can't silence fear completely, but you can decide whose voice gets the microphone. Mental discipline, igual freedom. You think freedom means doing whatever you want. It's not. That's chaos. True freedom is when you can tell your mind what to do, and it obeys. When you can say, I'm working now, and your body moves. When you can say, I'm done scrolling, and you stop. When you can say, I'm focused, and your attention locks in, that's mental discipline. That's real power. You train your body in the gym, but when was the last time you trained your mind? Do you feed it focus? Do you challenge it daily? Do you stretch it with learning? Your mind needs reps, just like muscles do. Every time you resist distraction, that's a rep. Every time you choose focus over noise, that's a rep. Every time you push through tiredness, that's a rep. And those reps build mental strength. The practice of control. Let's make this practical. Here are 5 daily steps to start taking control of your mind today. Step 1, morning reset. Before you touch your phone, feed your mind something empowering. Read, pray, journal, anything that builds peace before chaos starts. Your first input determines your day's direction. Step 2, guard your feed. Unfollow negativity. Mute distractions. Curate your environment so every voice you hear pushes you forward. Step 3, self-talk audit. Write down the things you say to yourself when no one's around. Would you talk to a friend like that? If not, stop talking to yourself that way. Replace I can't with I will. Step 4, focus blocks. Set 30-minute focus periods. No phone, no noise, no scrolling. Train your attention, it's your most valuable currency. Step 5, evening reflection. Before bed, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I think today that helped me? What did I think that hurt me? What will I feed my mind with tomorrow? Do this for 7 days and you'll feel the difference. Do it for 70 and you'll see the difference. Do it for 700 and your life will never look the same. Final words of this part. Let me tell you something. You can't have peace without control. You can't have focus without discipline. You can't have greatness with a distracted mind. Control your thoughts or they'll control you. Speak power or you'll speak poison. Direct your focus or the world will direct it for you. Because your mind is the steering wheel of your life. And every time you say, I can't, you're turning away from your potential. So the next time doubt shows up, don't argue, override it. When the negative voice says, you've failed too much, say, then I've learned more than most. When your fear says, you're not ready, say, I'm ready enough to start. Control begins there, in the decision to stop letting your thoughts boss you around, fall 7 times, get up 8, but this time, rise with your mind under control. Because once you win that battle, every other victory becomes possible. You can control your body. You can control your time. But if you don't control your emotions, they will control everything else. Because emotion is power. Uncontrolled, it destroys. Directed, it builds. Your mind is the engine. Your mood is the fuel. And if your emotions are unstable, your direction will always drift. Most people don't lose control because they're weak. They lose control because they're reactive. They let every mood swing dictate their life. But here's the truth. You can't build stability with emotional chaos. And you can't rise while you're ruled by your feelings. Emotions are waves. Think about the ocean. Waves rise. Waves crash. They come and go, but the ocean remains. Your emotions work the same way. They rise. They fall. They move through you, but you are not the wave. You are the ocean. The mistake most people make is that they identify with the wave. They feel angry, so they say, I am angry. They feel sad, so they say, I am sad. They feel afraid, so they say, I am weak. No, you are not your feelings. You are the one experiencing them. Control doesn't mean never feeling. It means never letting feelings decide for you. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. That's emotional control. Mood is a choice. This is the part people argue with. But listen carefully. Mood is not magic. It's management. You choose what state you live in every single day. You may not choose what happens, but you always choose your response. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you can rage, or you can breathe. A deal falls apart, you can panic, or you can plan. You wake up tired, you can complain, or you can still move. Your reaction is your responsibility every single time. You can't live your best life with a worse mood habit. You can't grow while your emotions are driving, because emotion is a terrible driver. It crashes everything it touches when unchecked. So take the wheel back. You decide your energy. You decide your focus. You decide your response. That's how you regain control. Stop worshiping feelings. You don't need to feel like doing something to do it. That's emotional immaturity. Children act on feelings. Adults act on decisions. You don't brush your teeth because you're inspired. You do it because it's discipline. You don't go to work because you're excited every day. You do it because it's necessary. So why do you treat your goals differently? You say, I'm not in the mood to work out. You say, I don't feel motivated to study. You say, I'm not emotionally ready to start. Then years pass, and you're still waiting to feel right before you do right. That's not control, that's emotional slavery. Here's the truth. Action creates mood, not the other way around. You don't wait for energy, you create it. You don't wait for confidence, you build it. You don't wait for peace, you choose it. Stop waiting for your emotions to catch up. Lead them. Your mood follows your emotion. Here's something powerful. Your body language controls your brain. When you slump, when you frown, when you breathe shallow, you're teaching your mind to feel small. But when you stand tall, lift your chest, breathe deep, move with purpose. Your brain releases power chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, energy. That's not motivation, that's biology. Try this. When you're stressed, stand up, move. When you're anxious, breathe slow and deep. When you're angry, go for a walk. When you're sad, clean your space, take a shower, put on structure. Don't wait for your emotions to shift. Shift your state, and your emotions will follow. Remember, mood follows motion. Energy follows action. Control follows movement. Emotional awareness is emotional power. You can't control what you don't understand. Start naming what you feel. Not to complain, to clarify. I'm not lazy, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not angry, I'm afraid. I'm not stuck, I'm uncertain. The moment you name it, you neutralize it. You take it out of the dark and bring it into your control. When emotions stay vague, they stay powerful. When you define them, you dominate them. That's why journaling, breathing, or even talking to someone wise helps. It organizes your emotional chaos into clarity. And clarity is control. Practical steps to control your mood. Step 1, pause before you react. When something triggers you, don't speak, don't act. Take 5 deep breaths. Give your brain time to choose control over impulse. Step 2, anchor your state. Create a reset ritual, music, meditation, prayer, movement, something that grounds you back to focus. Do it every time you feel yourself losing balance. Step 3, choose a power phrase. Find one phrase that flips your switch when you're emotional. Something like, stay calm, stay in control, I decide the energy, peace over panic. Repeat it until it becomes reflex. Step 4, move your body. Emotion equals energy in motion. If you're angry, walk. If you're tired, stretch. If you're anxious, exercise. Move energy through you, don't let it rot inside you. Step 5, gratitude reset. When your emotions spiral, shift focus to gratitude. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. List 3 things you still have control over and watch your mood align with perspective. Final words of this part. Let me tell you something. You are not powerless over your emotions. You've just never practiced power. You've let moods dictate your motion for too long, but that ends now. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are not the storm. You are the captain. The waves will rise. The winds will blow, but you'll stand steady because your peace isn't based on the weather, it's based on control. Don't say, I'm not in the mood. Say, I choose my mood. Don't say, I feel off. Say, I'm adjusting, because emotional control isn't about pretending to be calm. It's about mastering yourself in chaos. Fall 7 times, get up 8, but this time, rise with a calm mind and a steady heart. Because when your mood is yours, the world can't move you. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. You can dream all you want. You can plan, visualize, manifest. But if your habits don't align with your goals, you'll keep living the same life year after year. Because success doesn't come from what you want. It comes from what you repeat. Habits build identity. Every habit you practice is casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Every decision, every small action, it's a vote. When you hit snooze, that's a vote for procrastination. When you get up early, that's a vote for discipline. When you read instead of scroll, that's a vote for growth. When you quit when it's hard, that's a vote for weakness. You are not the sum of your intentions. You are the sum of your habits. People say, I'm trying to change. No, you're training to change. And training happens through repetition, not wishful thinking. You can't change your life overnight, but you can change your direction in one day by changing what you do daily. That's how control begins. Motivation fails systems. Motivation is emotional. Habits are structural. That's why most people never stay consistent. They depend on feelings instead of frameworks. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth, it's a system. You don't need motivation to eat, it's routine. So why should chasing your dream depend on motivation? If you build systems that make action automatic, you'll move forward even when you're tired, distracted, or unmotivated. The strongest people don't rely on willpower. They rely on structure, because structure wins when emotion fails. Build your environment so it makes good habits easy and bad ones hard. Don't trust your mood, design your routine. That's how winners live. Your habits are either building or breaking you. There are no neutral habits. Every action is taking you somewhere. The question is, are your habits helping you rise or making you fall? Let's be real. If your first move in the morning is your phone, You've already given your focus away. If your meals are chaos, your energy will be chaos. If you go to bed late scrolling, you're training your brain to live in distraction. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be intentional because habits multiply. One small habit becomes identity. Identity becomes destiny. If you're not proud of your direction, check your daily decisions. Consistency over intensity. Most people start strong and die out fast. They chase big goals with short energy. They go to the gym for a week, then disappear for a month. They study hard for 2 days, then binge distractions for 3. Here's the truth. Intensity builds excitement. Consistency builds results. The body you want, the mind you need, the life you dream of. They're not built in explosions. They're built in repetition. Small steps, every day. Even when it's boring, that's how control is developed. In the moments when no one's watching. Anyone can start. Few can stay. But the ones who stay, win. Create systems that serve you. Let's get practical. If you want control, you must design your days intentionally. Here's how. Step 1, one morning rule. Start your day with order. Don't touch your phone for 30 minutes. Drink water. Move your body. Do one thing that centers your mind. Prayer, reading, silence. You set the tone before the world sets it for you. Step 2, one focus block. Pick one non-negotiable task that matters most and finish it early.
No distractions, no multitasking, no excuses.
Winning early builds momentum for the rest of the day. Step 3, habit pairing. Attach a new habit to an old one. Example, read for 10 minutes after breakfast. Stretch right after brushing your teeth. You're not starting from scratch, you're upgrading what already exists. Step 4, track progress, not perfection. Don't aim for 100%. Aim for consistency. Miss one day, fine. Miss 2, not fine. Because 2 becomes a pattern. Control is not about never missing, it's about never quitting. Step 5, night shutdown ritual. End every day with review. Ask yourself, did I control my actions or did they control me? What one thing will I improve tomorrow? What am I grateful for today? Then sleep with peace, not panic. That's how discipline becomes habit. Replace weak habits with strong ones. You can't break habits. You can only replace them. If you want to stop scrolling, replace it with reading. If you want to stop complaining, replace it with gratitude. If you want to stop procrastinating, replace it with preparation. You can't remove emptiness. You must fill it with purpose. The brain hates gaps. It craves repetition. So give it new loops that build you, not break you. Control isn't about cutting everything bad. It's about choosing what's better. Identity through action. Here's the truth. Discipline is not about doing hard things. It's about becoming the kind of person who does hard things naturally. Every time you act with control, you're proving something to yourself. I'm the type of person who follows through. And when you start to believe that, everything changes. The gym becomes normal. Focus becomes habit. Excellence becomes identity. You don't force it anymore. You are it. That's the ultimate goal, to live in control automatically. Final words of this part. Listen, habits are the architecture of your destiny. Your life isn't built by what you do occasionally. It's built by what you do consistently. You can't wish for change and walk in circles. You can't talk about discipline and live in chaos. You want control? Then build it daily. No magic, no secrets, just choices. Get up at the same time. Do the hard thing first. Finish what you start. Repeat it until it's who you are. Because control isn't an event, it's a system. And systems never fail. People do. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. And this time, rise with habits that keep you standing. Money is not evil. Money is not magic. Money is a tool. And like any tool, it can build or destroy depending on who holds it. If you don't control money, it will control you. And when money controls you, you'll spend your life chasing instead of creating. That's not freedom, that's financial slavery. So let's fix it. Money is energy. Money is just energy in paper form. It flows to where it's respected. It leaves where it's wasted. You can tell how someone lives by how they treat their money. If they treat it with discipline, they build. If they treat it with emotion, they lose. Money doesn't change people. It reveals them. A poor mindset will stay poor no matter how many dollars it touches. A rich mindset will grow wealth even with little, because it's not about the amount. It's about control. You don't need to be rich to be free. You need to be responsible. Emotions and money don't mix. Money decisions made from emotion are the fastest way to lose control. You've done it before, right? You were sad, so you spent. You were bored, so you bought. You were stressed, so you swiped your card. That's not money management, that's emotional relief disguised as progress. You can't build wealth on impulse. You build it on intention. You can't let your emotions spend what your discipline earned. If every time you feel something, you spend something, you'll always stay broke, not just in money, but in mindset. Control your emotions, and you'll start controlling your wallet. The money trap, impressing instead of investing. Most people don't go broke from bills. They go broke from appearances. They buy to show, not to grow. They buy to look successful instead of becoming it. That's financial insecurity, wearing designer clothes. Let me tell you something. It's better to look broke and be building than to look rich and be sinking. Because when you live for validation, you lose your vision. Stop trying to prove your worth with your wallet. Start using your wallet to build your worth. You don't need to prove anything. You need to produce something. Build a relationship with your money. Money is like a relationship. It demands respect, communication, and consistency. If you ignore it, it leaves. If you misuse it, it resents you. If you respect it, it multiplies. Most people avoid talking about money because it makes them uncomfortable. But avoidance is not control. You can't fix what you refuse to face. So face it. Know your numbers. Know what comes in and what goes out. Because control starts with awareness. When you start tracking your money, you start respecting it. You start asking better questions. Do I really need this? Will this make me grow or shrink? Is this purchase for progress or pleasure? Those questions turn chaos into clarity. The 3 rules of financial control. Let's make it practical. Here are the 3 rules of financial control. Live by them, and you'll never feel powerless again. Rule 1, give every dollar a job. Money without purpose disappears. If you don't tell it where to go, it will leave on its own. Assign your income. 50% needs, 30% growth and goals, 20% saving and investing. You can adjust the numbers, but never lose the structure. Purpose turns chaos into control. Rule 2, delay, pleasure, multiply power. Every time you delay gratification, you strengthen your discipline muscle. Every time you say not now, you're saying later and stronger. Wealthy people don't avoid pleasure. They schedule it. They don't deny themselves joy. They build systems where joy doesn't destroy progress. That's the difference. Rule 3, invest in tools, not toys. Every purchase is either a seed or a leak. Seeds grow, leaks drain. A seed might be a skill course, a side hustle, a better laptop, a mentor. A leak might be another thing you didn't need but wanted to feel better. Ask yourself before every purchase, does this make me stronger, smarter, or freer? If not, it's a leak. Plug your leaks and you'll start building faster than you ever imagined. Money is a mirror. Money doesn't care about your excuses. It only reflects your behavior. If you're disorganized, your finances will mirror that. If you're disciplined, your finances will show that too. You don't need more income. You need more intentionality. People say, if I made more money, I'd be better with it. No, you wouldn't. You just make the same mistakes with bigger numbers. Control the small, and the big will respect you. You can't manage millions if you can't manage hundreds. You can't invest wisely if you can't even save consistently. Wealth is a result of daily order, and order is a form of control. The freedom mindset. Money is not about greed, it's about freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to move, freedom to say no when something doesn't align with your purpose. That's what financial control gives you options. When you manage your money, you stop surviving and start directing your life. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, does this align with my goals? That's power. That's independence. Freedom isn't found in spending. It's found in structure. You can't build a life of peace with a wallet full of chaos. Final words of this part. Let me tell you something. Money is not your enemy. Your lack of control is not the world's economy that's keeping you trapped. It's your personal economy. You don't need a miracle. You need a plan. You don't need more luck. You need more discipline. Write your plan. Stick to it. Track every move. Because when you master your money, you master your freedom. Don't let money be the reason you say no to your dreams. Make it the reason you can finally say yes. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. But this time, rise with your wallet, mindset, and future under control. Because real wealth isn't about how much you have. It's about how much control you hold. You've fallen. You've failed. You've learned. Now it's time to rise. This is where everything you've practiced control of your mind, your mood, your habits, your money, turns into momentum, because knowledge without movement is nothing. Control means nothing if it doesn't create progress. You can't just know the way. You have to walk it. You have to live it. Every day, movement is power. Energy doesn't wait, it multiplies when you move. You say you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just standing still. Momentum is built through motion. Even small motion. You take 1 step today, it gets easier tomorrow. You show up once, you build confidence. You show up twice, you build rhythm. You show up every day, you build momentum. Because motion creates energy, and energy creates consistency. You can't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. People keep saying, I need motivation. No, you need momentum. Motivation is a spark. Momentum is the fire that keeps burning when the spark is gone. The cycle of control. Here's how it works. Control, confidence, consistency, power. When you control your mind, you think clearly. When you think clearly, you make better decisions. Better decisions build confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action builds momentum. Momentum brings results. Results build control. That's the cycle. That's how people go from lost to legendary. They don't find control once they keep feeding it every day until it becomes who they are. The garden analogy, imagine your life as a garden. Your mind plants the seeds. Your mood waters them. Your habits grow them. Your money protects them. Every day, you're planting something, thoughts, words, choices. The weeds, they're distractions, laziness, and excuses. If you don't pull them out, they'll choke your potential. And here's the truth, no one else is going to do it for you. No gardener is coming. It's your soil, your responsibility. You decide what grows. You decide what dies. Control is the water. Discipline is the sunlight. Faith is the patience. So plant wisely, water daily, and harvest proudly, because what you plant now will feed your future. The story of the fighter. Let me tell you a story not of a celebrity, not of a hero, but of someone like you. He fell hard, lost money, lost focus, lost himself. Every time he stood up, life hit harder. He almost quit. He almost believed he wasn't built for greatness. But one day, he decided, I'm tired of surviving, I'm ready to fight. So he trained his mind before his muscles. He stopped letting moods decide his days. He built habits that worked even when he didn't want to. He stopped spending to feel good and started investing to be good. And little by little, he started rising. Not because life got easier, but because he got stronger. And now, when life hits him, he doesn't panic. He smiles because he knows control is his weapon. That fighter could be anyone. It could be you. Progress feeds power. You don't need to see the finish line to run. You just need to see the next step. Every little win matters. Every small victory adds weight to your belief. You woke up early today, that's progress. You controlled your anger once, that's progress. You saved $10 instead of spending it, that's progress. Don't ignore small wins, stack them, because momentum is built brick by brick, not overnight. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start with what you have. Perfection is a lie, progress is real. And here's the secret. Progress creates pride. Pride creates power. Power creates momentum. That's how you move from survival to success. The mirror of effort. Look in the mirror. Everything you see is a reflection of your effort. Your body, your focus, your income, your peace, they all mirror how much control you've chosen to live with. Don't hate the reflection, change it. You can't complain about results from work you didn't do. You can't expect growth from seeds you didn't plant. You can't expect peace from chaos you allowed. Be honest with yourself. The mirror doesn't lie. If you don't like what you see, fix your actions, not your reflection. The science of small wins. Momentum doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from stacking small wins until they snowball. You finish your workout, dopamine. You check off a task, dopamine. You drink water instead of soda, dopamine. Those little victories literally rewire your brain for success. Your brain learns action equals reward. And when that happens, discipline becomes easier, not harder. So don't underestimate the power of doing one small thing right, because it trains your brain to expect success. Don't stop now. You've come too far to stop now. You've learned control. You've broken cycles. You've started to build power. Don't lose it by slowing down. Momentum is fragile. It doesn't die in one day. It fades in silence. It disappears when you stop doing the small things that built it. Keep your standards high. Keep your movement steady. Keep your fire alive. Because the moment you stop feeding progress, you start feeding comfort again. And comfort, as you've learned, is the enemy. So protect your emotion like your life depends on it, because it does. Final words of this part. You've been learning how to control your life piece by piece. Now it's time to accelerate. Because power isn't given, momentum isn't luck. It's repetition, resilience, and rhythm. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. But this time, don't just stand, run. Because the more you move, the more you believe. The more you believe, the more you control. And the more you control, the more unstoppable you become. You're not waiting for momentum. You're building it right now. You've started moving. Now don't stop. This is where most people quit, right? When they're finally gaining speed, they say, it's too much. They say, I need a break. They say, I'll come back when I'm ready. But momentum doesn't wait. If you stop pushing, it stops growing. If you pause too long, you start over. And you've come too far to start over again. The battle within, the greatest fight you'll ever face isn't with the world. It's with yourself. Not your boss, not your haters, not your past. You, every day, your comfort fights your commitment. Your excuses fight your execution. Your fear fights your faith. And every time you choose discipline over doubt, you win another round. Control isn't a one-time victory, it's a daily war. Every morning you rise early. Every time you say no to distraction. Every moment you stay focused when it's boring. You're fighting for your legacy. That's what warriors do. They don't fight because it's easy. They fight because it matters. The race analogy, life is a race, but not the kind where you compete with others. It's a race against your own limits. Every lap is a lesson. Every mile is a test. Every fall is feedback. The people ahead of you, they're not your rivals. They're reminders of what's possible. And the people behind you, they're watching to see if you'll quit. Because if you rise, they'll rise too. So don't stop running. Even when you're tired. Even when the track feels endless. Run tired. Run focused. Run through it. Because the finish line isn't a place, it's a version of you. The stronger, wiser, unstoppable you. Pain is proof. You know what pain really means? It means you're growing. Pain is not punishment, it's progress. It's your old self breaking down so the new one can emerge. Every time you push through the pain, you're expanding your limits. That burn in your chest when you train growth. That frustration when you fail growth. That silence when no one notices your effort, still growth. Pain is your body's way of saying, you're building something bigger than comfort. So stop avoiding it. Welcome it. Because the pain you feel today is the strength you stand on tomorrow. The fire inside. There's a fire inside you. You've just forgotten how to feed it. Every act of discipline adds wood. Every act of focus adds oxygen. Every act of courage fans the flame. But if you neglect it, it dims. The world tries to pour water on it. Doubt, fear, rejection, failure. But they only succeed if you stop burning. You keep feeding the fire. You keep showing up. You keep believing, even when no one claps. Because one day, that fire will light your entire path. And people will look at you and say, they're lucky. They won't see the nights you stayed focused. They won't see the hours you trained in silence. They won't see the storms you survived. But you'll know it wasn't luck, it was control. The power of repetition. Say it again and again. Because repetition is rhythm, and rhythm builds power. You fall, you rise. You fall, you rise. You fall, you rise. That's how momentum sounds. You train, you fail, you learn, you repeat. You try, you lose, you grow, you repeat. You doubt, you push, you rise, you repeat. That's how greatness is made. Not in one explosion, but in endless repetition. Every rep builds resilience. Every cycle builds character. Every rise builds belief. That's the pattern of progress. The story of the student. There was a student who kept failing every exam. He studied, but nothing stuck. He cried, complained, almost quit. One day, his teacher said, "Your problem isn't that you're failing. It's that you're not learning from the failure." So he changed his mindset. Every mistake became a note. Every setback became a lesson. Months later, he didn't just pass, he excelled. Not because he was smarter, because he built momentum. Failure didn't stop him, it taught him. And once he learned that every fall was feedback, he stopped fearing failure altogether. That's what happens when you build control. You stop fearing the fall because you trust your ability to rise. Don't break the chain. Here's a rule. Never break the chain. Whatever you're building, discipline, fitness, learning, focus, do something every single day, even if it's small, even if it's 5 minutes, even if no one sees it. The moment you skip too long, momentum slips through your fingers. Keep the streak alive. One more rep, one more step, one more push. Because success isn't made of giant leaps. It's made of chains of tiny wins that never stop. Each link adds strength. Each day adds weight. And one day, you'll look back and realize you built a masterpiece, one decision at a time. Final words of this part. This is where you rise different. You've learned control. You've built discipline. You've started the fire. Now you keep it burning because momentum doesn't need perfection. It needs persistence. You don't have to move fast. You just have to keep moving. Fall 7 times, get up 8. And when you rise this time, don't just rise to stand. Rise to run. Run with focus. Run with faith. Run with fire. Because once momentum takes over, nothing and no one can stop you. You've built control. Now build your legacy. Stop waiting. Stop wishing. Stop planning and start doing. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, you've learned what control means. You've seen how to rise. You've built the pieces mind, mood, habits, money. Now it's time to move. Because if you don't move now, you never will. You'll fall back into comfort, into excuses, into waiting for perfect. And perfect never comes. So stand up right now and make the decision that changes everything. Control your mind, direct it. Write the plan. Don't think right. Don't wait, act. Your mind listens to your actions more than your words. Stop telling yourself you'll start someday. Someday isn't real. You want control? Command your focus. Decide what matters. Cut what doesn't. Your thoughts create your world. So feed them power. Feed them discipline. Feed them belief. No more I can't. No more I'll try. Say I will. Because every time you speak strength, you build strength. Control your mind or it will control you. Control your mood. Command it. Breathe. Right now, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's control. Your emotions are not your masters. They're signals. You decide what to do with them. You feel tired? Move anyway. You feel angry? Stay calm. You feel doubt? Focus on the mission. You are not the wave, you are the ocean. Don't say, I don't feel like it. Say, my feelings don't run my life. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're winning the internal war. That's what control looks like. That's what growth feels like. Control your habits, build systems. Discipline doesn't ask for motivation. It asks for repetition. Wake up at the same time. Do the hard thing first. Finish what you start. Small wins every day. That's how control compounds. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do something consistently. 5 minutes of focus beats 5 hours of distraction. 1 page read beats 100 ignored. 1 step taken beats 1,000 planned. Control isn't loud. It's quiet. It's built-in routine. And routine becomes power. Control your money, respect it. Look at your wallet. Look at your bank account. That's not just numbers, that's choices. Start respecting them. You don't need to be rich, you need to be responsible. You don't need luck, you need structure. Budget your life. Spend with purpose. Save like your future depends on it, because it does. Every dollar is energy. Send it to build, not to break. Stop buying for validation. Start investing for freedom. Your money should serve your mission, not distract you from it. No more excuses. You've made enough of them. You've talked enough about what you'll do one day. One day is a thief. It steals dreams from people who wait too long. The truth, no one is stopping you but you. Not your past. Not your fear. Not your circumstances. Excuses are comfortable lies. And you've told yourself enough. Now tell the truth. You've got power. You've got control. You've got everything you need except commitment. So commit. Right now, pain or regret, pick one. You can choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One lasts minutes. The other lasts years. The pain of doing is temporary. The pain of quitting echoes forever. When you're tired, remember that. When you want to quit, repeat it. Pain means progress. Pain means growth. Pain means you're becoming unstoppable. So embrace it. Because the pain you feel today is proof that you're alive. Your legacy starts now. Look, one day, your name will be nothing but a story. The question is, what kind of story will it be? One of excuses? Or one of control? One of almosts? Or one of victories? You're writing it right now. Every choice, every step, every word. So ask yourself, what do I want my story to say? Here lies someone who talked. Or here stood someone who did. Your legacy isn't built someday. It's built today. Commands for the moment. Say it out loud. Mean it. I control my mind. I control my mood. I control my habits. I control my money. Say it again. Stronger. I am not my fears. I am not my failures. I am not my past. I am my control. Now act like it. No more scrolling. No more doubting. No more waiting. You have everything you need. All that's missing is your decision. So decide. Start the workout. Write the plan. Send the message. Launch the project. Do something now. Because control without action is just theory. And theory never built a legacy. Final words of this section. This is it. Your chance. Your turning point. Don't let it pass. You've fallen before, fine. You failed before, fine. But now you know better. Now you know control. So stand up. Move forward. Do the thing. Do it now. No excuses. No fear. No waiting. Because the only way to win this game is to play it like your life depends on it. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. And this time, never fall the same way again. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Everything you've heard, every truth, every challenge, every command leads to this moment. This is where control becomes identity, where action becomes instinct, where failure becomes fuel, because life will hit you again, harder, faster, without warning. You'll fall again. You'll stumble again. You'll question everything again. But this time, you'll rise different. The rhythm of resilience. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. That's your rhythm now. That's your heartbeat. That's your mantra. It's not just a quote, it's a code. You don't stop because you fell. You rise because you can. Every time you stand up, you prove something. You're still in control. You still have power. You're not done. Because control doesn't mean you never fall. It means you never stay down. You control the comeback. You control the response. You control the story. The legacy of control. One day, people will talk about you. They'll say your name. They'll tell your story. And you decide how that story sounds. Will they say they gave up when it got hard? Or will they say they never stopped fighting? Will they say they complained about the fall? Or will they say they kept getting up every single time? That's legacy. It's not money. It's not fame. It's not comfort. Legacy is control. Control over fear. Control over failure. Control over the voice that says you can't. When you master control, you master destiny. The fire of belief. Repeat this. I am not broken, I am becoming. I am not behind. I am building. I am not done. I am developing. You're not finished, you're forming. You're in progress. And progress is powerful because progress means you're still fighting, still showing up, still believing in the version of you that refuses to quit. That's the fire that separates the lost from the leaders, the defeated from the determined. You've built the tools. You've earned the wisdom. Now it's time to burn bright. The rules of the rise. Let these rules echo in your head every day. Rule 1, control your mind or it will control you. Rule 2, control your mood or chaos will. Rule 3, control your habits or they'll shape your downfall. Rule 4, control your money or you'll stay owned by it. And above all, Rule 5, never stop rising. Because no matter how far you fall, the comeback is always stronger than the collapse. You've proven that already. You're proving it right now. The choice, every morning you'll wake up with 2 choices. Repeat your past or rise into your power. Comfort or control. Fear or focus. Excuses or execution. And every day you get to choose again. That's the beauty of control. You can restart anytime. So if you fell yesterday, fine. If you slipped this week, fine. If you failed this year, fine. Fall, learn, rise, repeat. Because life isn't about how many times you hit the ground. It's about how many times you decide to rise anyway. The mantra, say it with me. Say it until it sticks. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Fall 7 times, get up 8. That's your reminder. That's your rhythm. That's your resistance against failure, fear, and fatigue. When you fall, rise faster. When you're tired, push harder. When you doubt, believe louder. You've got one life, one story, one chance to take control. Don't waste it on waiting. Don't waste it on weakness. Don't waste it on wondering what could have been. Do it. Now, here, today, the echo. When it's dark, remember this line. When it's hard, remember this lesson. When it hurts, remember this truth. You are built for the rise. You are not ordinary. You are not fragile. You are not finished. You are control in motion. You are discipline in form. You are the proof that falling is not the end, it's the beginning. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. And when you get up this time, don't look back. Closing line, control your mind. Control your mood. Control your habits. Control your money. And you'll control your life. Because that's what this is all about. Not perfection, but power. Not comfort, but control. Not falling, but rising again and again. Fall 7 times. Get up 8. Say it, live it, be it. Your rise starts now.